Hello class, you just finished taking your pre-test over compare and contrast. We're going to go ahead and get started with Native American cultures. The first one that we're going to start with today is the Southwest Native Americans. You should have your matrix in front of you. Be ready to fill that out as I go over some of the things that you will see. The Anasazi Indians were the builders of large pueblos, and it is believed that their descendants, the Pueblo people, have lived in the Southwest longer than any other natives. The Hopi, a part of the Pueblo Nation, built their homes in Black Mesa in Orabi, Arizona. It is one of the oldest places in the United States to be occupied continually. Natives have lived there for thousands of years. The Zuni, another part of the Pueblo Nation, settled just south and east of the Hopi in what is now New Mexico. The two groups lived much the same, had the same customs, traditions, and beliefs, but spoke different languages. The Pueblo people were the first apartment dwellers living in a row of connected houses that were several stories high. The buildings were made of stone or adobe set high atop mesas. These places were easy to defend, but required steep climbs down to the flatlands for water and to work their crops. Men built the pueblos in kivas. They used stones for the walls and heavy wooden beams for the roofs. These beams were so hard to get that they were reused when the new pueblos were built. Water was always scarce, and the people had to cooperate in digging irrigation ditches from streams to fields. When storms threatened erosion of precious soil, they developed a new form of cultivation, called terracing, when terraces or steps were dug in the sides of fields. Religion, trade networks, and art were part of the Anasazi society. Archaeologists believe that Chaco Canyon may have been the center of culture. A road system radiating from Chaco Canyon and totaling hundreds of miles led to outlying communities. The Anasazi did not separate the concepts of religion and work. In this land of little water, emphasis was placed on understanding the laws of nature to know when to plant. It is believed that they understood astronomy and were attuned to the sun's yearly course, equinoxes, and solstices. There was a right way of living, prayers and ceremonials, working together, being happy with life and each other. To desert farmers, water is very important, and that water comes from rain. The Hopi have spirit rainmakers called Kachinas. Legend says that the Kachina came from the Pueblo when they rose up from the underworld. For a while, they all lived together. The Kachinas provided comfort and hope, but even more important, they performed the ceremonies that brought rain. One day, the people and the Kachinas argued, and the Kachinas left, never to return. Before leaving, however, they gave the Pueblo permission to wear masks and costumes and paint their bodies so they could act the part of the Kachinas and perform the ceremonies to bring rain and good fortune. There are over 200 Kachina spirits, each with its own mask. Each village has its own Kachina cult of men who meet in the kiva. Once a man has a mask on, he becomes that Kachina in spirit. Clowns often reappear with the Kachinas. Their role is to make fun of the wrong things people do, thereby teaching them moral lessons. Caring for the home was a woman's job. This included finishing the roof with grass, brush, and mud, and filling in the chinks in the walls with mud and sometimes whitewashing the inside walls. Social life was centered around working side by side with neighbors and attending the many yearly festivals. Women wove baskets for a variety of uses: containers for corn, tray platters, hampers to carry crops, baby cradle boards, and for various ceremonies. They made pottery by digging, soaking, and kneading clay soil. Pots and bowls were made by building up long coils on a circular base. Men did the farming, planting corn, squash, beans, sunflowers, cotton, and tobacco, then tending the fields. They hunted, catching wild deer, antelope, and rabbits. Men gathered cotton, carded, and spun it into thread, which they used to weave all the family's clothing. Younger men wove in the winter, when there was no farming, while older men wove all year long. Thank you for working so hard. I want you to go ahead and check with your shoulder partners and make sure that your papers are filled out across the top for Southwest Native Americans. If you see that one of your columns was empty, I did answer all those questions, so make sure that you check with your group. After you're done, you have 2 sheets that you can choose from to color on. Thanks.